Good evening, and welcome to Karl Marx Does the Washing Up.
Yep, I'm Ilyas and Shy.
I'm Shy, and today I've got a quote for you from ben-okri.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, I do. He's groovy.
I feel like when I mentioned him earlier, you didn't know. Oh, you've done your research. You know who he is now.
Yeah, no, my friend James did some stuff with him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No, okay, so it's from his book, The Gods.
Yeah, but he's dead, actually, so... No? Anyway, yeah.
Dead or alive, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because he wrote The Gods when he was alive, and I've read it.
I don't read those kind of books.
Shut up. So, in this book, there's a traveller, and he comes across this magical city, and there's a guide taking him around the city. And he's regularly...
By traveller, do you mean like gypsy, or you mean like wealthy man on a gap year?
It could be any of those things. It could be just a sailor, it could be a gypsy, it could be someone running away from their past. It doesn't really explain where he comes from.
Is gypsy a derogatory word?
I don't think we know enough about that to comment on that.
Okay.
I mean, it does sound like a derogatory word.
Okay, or is traveller a derogatory word?
They both sound quite derogatory.
Okay, anyway, continue.
I meant traveller in terms of someone who's...
Bill Bryson.
just travelling the world.
Okay, continue with your quotes. We're taking forever to get through this quote.
I am. So traveller is how they refer to him in the book. Anyway, so he's got this guide who's taking him around the city, and he's regularly asking the guide, saying, "What is this? Why am I here? What's going on?" And the guide responds by saying, and I quote, "Man only survives life by regularly eschewing the next level of comprehension." So, man only survives life by regularly eschewing the next level of comprehension.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, but what is the next level? Like, is the next level like a temporal thing? Like, is it the next thing to happen? Or is it like a depth kind of thing? Like, you're like the next layer of reality?
So I thought it was a depth thing. So I thought...
So definitely a temporal.
So I thought it was depth in that, you know, we ponder the big questions about the next level of reality, but we never actually want to know the answers. I think we actively abstain from finding the actual answers.
Well, then that supports the idea that, many philosophers go insane and like commit suicide and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
and also artists, if you consider art to be a porthole into a next level of reality.
Yeah, but is it because you spend so much time pondering the next level of reality that you forget to live in reality? So it leads to this sort of like deep melancholy or deep morose that you can never really get out of.
I think it's maybe because we've been brought up in a way uneducated of the next level, so we don't have any like tools to synthesize the two realities, right?
But is it also because we've been brought up in a way that there's a question and there's an answer?
Yeah, for sure, I'm down with that.
Yeah, as in we've been educated in a way that there's one question and there's one answer.
Yeah, well, it's just a linear way of considering the world.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this next level of reality is, but I have a feeling it's not within that same framework. Or that it doesn't exist in that same framework, or if you impose it into that same framework, it just like drives you nuts.
So but I suppose if we focus on so I agree with that, but then if you know that, why ponder the next level of reality? If it's not in a framework that we can potentially comprehend, why ponder it?
It's just like, I don't know, curiosity, boredom.
But curiosity kills a cat.
Sexy lady led you there or something.
Yeah. I do think maybe there's a link between pondering the big questions less and living a longer life.
Yeah, I think, do think philosophy, that's obviously, not great considering we have a philosophy podcast to know.
Wait, are we taking minutes of our life every time we record a podcast? Years of our life.
Isn't that what you're implying? Right?
Yeah. That is exactly what I'm implying.
I guess the question is, like, you work in hospital, right? To what percentage of your patients are questioning the deep levels of reality?
Almost all of them. Because it's a mental health hospital.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that is the struggle that I always figure with, like, mental health and stuff. Is it like a truth that you don't know how to conflate with reality?
Yeah.
Or it's just a very inconvenient truth, or whatever, or is it just nonsense?
Yeah. Yeah, but I suppose in the spirit of this quote, I can't possibly even begin to answer your question.
Yeah.
Because it would impact my life negatively.
Yeah, I mean, even exploring it. Well, I think the thing is, like, I mean, people who ask these questions, and I think that's why a lot of people are like, oh my god, it's him, the guy at the party who always wants to ask these annoying
that's true.
questions. Like, nobody wants to really engage in that way. But I think the reason that, for me at least, I draw so much from these kind of ideas and I love pondering them is because on some level I know they're all kind of sort of nonsense questions. I'm not actually trying to answer them.
So are you actively abstaining from answering them?
Yeah.
Even though you're pondering them?
Yeah, I think so. But I think that's because I started pondering questions kind of because my first layer of reality stopped functioning in a way.
Well, yeah, because you are the antithesis to this quote, right? Because you were ill, and then you use these questions to get better.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
maybe if I just took some vitamins, I'd maybe help. Yeah.
Sorry, and modern medicine helped you get better.
But, yeah. Oh no, I don't know. Modern medicine's done nothing for me.
Yeah. Okay. So if we follow that line of thought, then pondering these big questions is kind of all you did when you were unwell.
Yeah.
And you did get better through pondering these questions.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, I pondered. So from pondering the questions, I kind of managed to find a beauty in the world, and through that beauty I managed to kind of gain a sense of gratitude and heal through that sort of process. But mixed up in that while I was doing that.
And why haven't you bottled this beauty and started selling it for $9.99 as like a miracle cure?
I did. That's a podcast.
Oh, this is a podcast. You're offering it for free.
Oh,
yeah, it's a cure.
No, you've got to pay with your soul, like
like you did. Yeah,
and you're like, life expectancy.
Wait, so you found this beauty, and this beauty helped heal you.
Yeah.
But while doing that,
I fell into the normal structure of the philosophical question, which is a question with a certain built-in self-promise of an answer, that there is an answer that goes out there. So there was this need to understand the world, because I felt that if I understand what this world is, then I can understand what my body is and what it has to do in order to live in this world. So it was this pursuit for wisdom.
You think you answered that?
No. So I was trying to figure out this kind of what this place is, thinking that I could. So there was a certain anxiety that came up with that because I wanted to know. And
but then did you only get better once you realized you couldn't understand it?
Yeah. So what I realized after a certain while is that these questions have been asked for thousands of years.
Yeah. And men have died for thousands of years.
Yeah. And also nobody's really answered the basic ideas of reality. We're still asking the same questions. And
wait, that's depending on your belief system, though. Because if you do believe in, something in like a spiritual reality, like Christianity or Islam or something, then the big questions have kind of been answered.
Yeah, but not through questioning as much.
In what way have they not?
Just in the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
Or in the text, right?
Yeah.
So the answers have been given, but never really questioned, in a sense. I mean, we were given the answers, but people keep asking the questions. So they either believe the answers or they don't.
Yeah, and then they ask you there and no questions.
Questions. And it depends on what interpretation you take of the Bible.
Of the answers,
So I guess what I was led to is a kind of sense of mysticism, where there is a truth and there is an idea to know it, but it can't be known linguistically or factually. And what I realized is that after spending a lot of time questioning things, and through the questioning finding beauty, and simultaneously gaining an anxiety for the need to have an answer, I decided to give up the need for an answer, but hold on to the questions. And through using these questions, it just opened me up to things. I started seeing things more. So now I just use the question as a way to pay more attention to stuff.
So then that does kind of fit in really well with the quote, because
it made me sick, but then it made me better.
Yeah. No, but you only got better when you realized that you couldn't answer the questions. And so you survived when you eschewed the next level of comprehension.
But I don't know, personally I feel, maybe I'm completely wrong, but that itself was getting to a new level of comprehension. The idea that you can't comprehend something in any linguistic form is its own form of comprehension, but then you're just starting to pay attention to it.
Yeah, but then once, if we took the quote in a temporal way, so once you've understood something, then you just need to understand the next thing. So what's the next thing that you need to understand after understanding that maybe you can't answer the question linguistically?
And wait, what? Say that again.
So if we take the quote in a temporal way, in that once you understand something, you just need to understand the next thing. So it's a never-ending loop of having to understand things. So what would be the next step that you need to understand after understanding that you can't explain the universe linguistically?
Well, I guess the understanding that I'm talking about is saying that, like, once you get to the point that you can't understand the world linguistically, then just paying attention to things is how you understand things. So to understand the nature of a cup, you just look at a cup, you just drink a cup of tea, right?
I think your way sounds quite easy, actually.
Yeah, but then there's maybe other levels of reality, like, okay, like, I don't know, spirits or whatever. I don't know, are we in a simulation? All these kinds of...
Yeah, okay.
There's so many uncovered... I'm not saying I've, like, sussed the universe, but the questions that I was trying to figure out became irrelevant because they led to some understanding that was superior to what I was looking for. Yeah, and maybe there's a series of other aspects of reality that I'm continually abstaining from because I'm scared.
So you're saying that pondering these questions is actually helping you engage with life?
Yeah.
Because I would think that pondering these questions, these big questions, would actually take you away from life.
Yeah, it did take me away from life. It did both. It took me into life and then took me away from life. And then I realized...
And is it like a constant, almost like peaks and troughs of a wave? It will take you into life and then take you out of life?
No, I don't think it really takes me out of life anymore.
Really?
Because I don't fixate on things. It's not like before. It used to be a rumination.
Yeah.
This kind of idea of like having to hold something tightly and know something. And now it's just paying attention to things and just like marveling with ideas.
Oh yeah, and I suppose you're not looking for anything deeper.
Yeah.
You're not
Which is, I think, what you do as well. It's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You just like get excited by ideas and different...
Yeah, that's true, but I've never really looked at anything in that much depth. And that maybe is why I'm happy, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like you already know exactly what you believe to be the way things are. And that grounding is what allows you to, like, explore these, no?
Yeah, that's true, but then that belief system is ultimately based on nothing. It's just based on the ideas that I have that have kept my father alive.
Yeah. But the willingness to question that in that moment sounds contrary to your survival, right?
Yes, moment. Exactly, yeah. So maybe I actually actively eschew. So my new favourite word.
Eschew,
eschewing is good.
Especially since... Yeah, you've actually changed your shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they are. They're like all clunky. You don't wear clunky shoes.
It's because it's winter. It's winter.
Yeah, you become better, more hipster.
Yeah. No, so if we take the... So we've explored the quote in a depth way. So do you agree with the quote? So man only survives life.
I think when I was saying in a temporal way...
Do you even remember the quote?
Man sustains life by eschewing the next level of comprehension.
Yeah, good memory. Yeah. So in a depth way, I think maybe there is some truth in that, though. I think we maybe both agree on that.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't.
Even though you had the opposite.
Yeah, but experience. I think it's uncomprehensive. I think it's true, but it's not fully true. And no, I don't agree with it. I think the need to understand something, or the fixation on understanding something, takes you away from survival. But just understanding doesn't. And the problem is that understanding is so difficult.
No, but are you saying that the need to understand something is obviously something that requires a lot of thought? Are you saying to understand...
It's attachment. That's
but to understand something, you're maybe suggesting that's slightly intuitive and won't take you away from it.
It could be intuitive, or it could come to through rationality or whatever, but just an understanding of things as how they really are, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
I don't believe, maybe that's because I don't know what the world really is, actually takes you away from your survival.
And then when your attachment to understanding is too great, that's what takes you away from survival.
Yeah.
So it's just attachment theory.
Because it's just basically attachment. But that's not what... I didn't think that's what the quote's saying. That's what I'm saying.
Is that what your theory is?
Yeah, just that being attached to something. Because then your life or your whatever... For me, it was... My health was attached to a knowledge of why I was sick. And my knowledge of why I was sick was attached some ludicrous way to the ontology of my body and to the
beauty of the universe.
Well, no, not just what the universe is.
Yeah.
Right? Or the ontology of my body was connected to what this universe is. And until I've answered the question of free will, I can't figure out which pills to take.
Yeah. And then you never found out.
Yeah, I never found out. I just took the pills and enjoyed myself.
But then actually, I never thought about it in an attachment way. I never thought about it as an attachment to understanding. But I think that's a bit...
Yeah, but okay, so there's this guy I think his name's Donald Hoffman, and I've probably completely misunderstood his theory or whatever.
Well, I've just plucked a quote out of a book, right, that might have nothing to do with the rest of the book.
Yeah. That's... Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what's happening.
Yeah, so this is less than that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, right, it's less than that.
This is less than that. And anyway, there's this guy, Donald Hoffman, and he basically has this idea that what he says is that if you take natural selection, kind of honestly, or like truly, and see that's the governing force of us human beings, it's not beneficial to our survival to understand the truth, right? Because it's a wasted kind of, let's say...
It's a waste of your life.
No, it's a waste of, what's bandwidth, let's say. Like, for something which is irrelevant in terms of survival. The function of man is to survive and... Procreate. And so the strategies that exist... Oh, what the fuck am I saying? Okay.
So you're saying if I think too much about the life's biggest questions, it would actually go against natural selection and hamper my chances of procreation. Is that what you're saying?
No, he says... No. What he's saying is whatever the universe is not what the universe is, because it is contrary to natural selection for us to actually know the universe as it is. So it's most likely we're living in some kind of codified simulation, because if we spend our sort of bandwidth on trying to understand the system that we are in rather than operating within the system, then we will no longer be operating at optimal level within the system, which works contrary to our survival.
But
so
what about
basically there's no way that this life is as it is.
So I think we both agree that this life isn't as it is, but I don't know if I agree with what Donald Hoffman is saying. This is absurd. Like, this is an idea.
Yeah. It's like...
Yeah, but then that...
He's also like... This is like a legitimate scientist kind of guy. It's not some... Not that meat, like, I don't know.
Yeah. But then what about, like, the Matrix theory? That, we do live in the system, but we need to break out of the system, and then we'll understand the system even more. Or we can manipulate the system even more.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah?
I mean, I can't argue with that.
Okay, but knowing this Donald Hoffman quote, does that make you want to live within the system, or does that make you want to... Does that make you want to rally against the system, or like at least...
Nobody's saying that there isn't an idea, there isn't a way to know what the system is. So the only thing that
do you agree with that though?
I don't. I think there's maybe I haven't fully understood it, but I think there's a paradox built into that sort of thing, in the sense that if what he's saying is true, it can't be true because natural selection wouldn't allow it to be true.
Because then you wouldn't ponder the big questions.
No, because he's basically saying that the universe is this kind of codified system. Yeah. He's basically saying, like, what the smartphone is to us, the universe kind of is... The way we consider the smartphone is...
The way the universe considers us.
Yeah, pretty much. No, it's not even that. It's... it's pretty basic Buddhist kind of...
Yeah, exactly.
Maya stuff.
Yeah, but told in a more scientific way.
Yeah, but the thing is, for him to assert that natural selection is true as a theory, and also that it leads to this kind of epistemology, or even if that epistemology is a not knowingness, then that would be grounded in an idea that it is humanly anti-survival to know truth, right? And so anti-human. Yeah. So what he's saying can't really be true.
So what do we mean by surviving?
Well, just working as an individual to the optimum efficiency of the. Yeah, I guess the body. I guess survival. That's interesting. Yeah, because is the spirit involved in terms of survival?
So, well, if taking it in that way, then no.
I think the general idea.
Yeah, but that way is also ignoring spiritual education, right? And spiritual elevation.
Yeah. Well, I guess
natural selection doesn't really take that into account.
No,
it's more of a physical.
Unless we say that when the spirit is in its highest form, it alters the matter.
Yeah.
For positive effect, so that the body is in its highest form.
But isn't that what we believe by believing in God?
Yeah. I think that is true. But that also that also kind of falls against this comprehension idea, because if the spirit is in its highest form, which if we take most kind of mystical literature or historical literature around this, it is very much around the ideas of truth and knowledge and stuff. So if the highest spiritual form is in a state of knowing, right?
Yeah.
And that knowing has a positive impact on the body.
Yeah.
Then it would be pro our survival to know or comprehend the universe as it is, or ourselves as we are.
You're right, but then the quote is saying the opposite, isn't it? It's saying the more that we know, the actual less likely we are to survive.
Yeah.
But does evidence support that? So are, history's greatest thinkers or less likely to survive than, people who don't think and just do?
But I don't think that's a question of, the thing is the comprehension and asking questions or needing to know they're totally different things. So if we say philosophers, right, have often killed themselves, that doesn't mean they killed themselves because of truth. That means they killed themselves because they wanted to know.
You think they committed suicide because they wanted to know what would happen?
No. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that the torture
of finding
of asking these relentless questions and trying to figure out the answer, basically constructing a puzzle which they could never solve. Their whole life is a puzzle they could never solve. That's maybe what drove them to insanity. But finding the truth isn't there. Well, it's up for debate, but it's I think they are different things. When you say somebody who spends their life pursuing the truth, that doesn't mean they found it, right? There might be somebody who never pursues the truth and just finds it accidentally.
But are we saying that you're more likely to find it if you don't pursue it?
I don't know. I think in some sort of way,
if you stumble across it.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the things that I consider to be true in my life, or I hold in deep reverence, I kind of stumbled upon them.
Yeah, but did you only stumble on them because you were open to them, right? You were open. Maybe you weren't pursuing them, but you were open to them.
I think for me, maybe questioning helped me be open to certain things, but I think generally speaking, openness isn't really about questioning all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I think okay, so that's the point, that the questioning has to lead to an openness rather than a closeness.
Yeah.
So if you're fixated on the question having an answer,
then you'll never.
It becomes a closed system.
Yeah, but you need an open system to actually be able to have any answers.
Yeah. What about you?
No, I think that's the way that we try to live, but I think, as I said earlier, I think we have been brought up in a question and answer education system. So that even when I ask questions, I do find it difficult when I don't get a closed system answer.
Would you feel that asking of questions has led you to more comprehension or less?
Well, I think I ask a lot of questions in every aspect of life.
Yeah.
I think it's my conversational technique. I ask, even in this podcast.
Yeah.
I think I ask a lot of questions. I don't know if it's. It'd be impossible for me to say whether it's led to more comprehension or less, because all I do is ask questions.
But do you what stock do you put in the answers?
What stock do I put in? So if I take this, I think take quite a lot of stock in answers. But I'm never expecting the questions I ask to be fully answered. I think a lot of questions I ask you, or that I ask patients, or I ask friends, are quite open questions. I'm not really expecting many closed answers. Even asking you if you're hungry Not really expecting a yes or no answer.
Yeah, you are. You're always expecting yes.
Yeah, but I know it's going to be yes. But by asking if you're hungry, I'm being like, where are we going to eat?
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because if I say no, you'll call 999.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but then, so do you feel this open system? So your question framework is an open system. It's not a closed one.
Yeah. But I think that's because I recognised that I was in a closed system, and I tried to make it more open.
So that's exactly the same process as what I've done, right? Pretty much. It's like it's
but without the illness.
Yeah, you didn't have to get sick to.
Yeah. But so reading this quote did make me worry though, because are we actually impacting our survival by pondering these questions?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think to some degree.
Our listeners, are they impacting their survival by listening to us and then pondering the questions themselves?
Yeah. Well, my grandma's, I mean, she's had a few health issues recently, but mostly speaking.
Yeah. And she's pretty well. She's 95.
She's 94, yeah. 94, and she's mostly pretty content, and she's pretty healthy, and all these sort of things. And she doesn't question anything really. I'll ask her, so Granny, tell me some story. Like, tell me what happened in your past. Like, nothing. What is the past? Nothing. She's like, gone. Past is gone. Get me a samosa. Like, and
it's really heartwarming take on dementia. I like it. It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't even know. Yeah, okay, fine. Maybe it's just dementia, but I don't really think it is. And she's always been this kind of like no nonsense sort of person.
And you think that's the reason why she's lived that long?
Yeah, I kind of think so. There's no sentimentality around anything. I see her pretty much every week for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And she's only ever told me one story about her life.
What was the story?
It's really cute. It's her and her husband, who's passed away now.
Yeah.
They met because they were posting letters.
She told me this story.
She's told you the story. See, she's told you the same. So I've got as much knowledge of her history as you do. Right?
Does that just mean that you're quite a bad grandson?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't ask as many questions. Yeah, maybe if you were just like asking your relentless questioning, you'd get something. But when I do that, she's just like, shut up.
No, but maybe it's true. Like, if I look at the people in my life who are quite no-nonsense and to the point, I mean, they're my manager. They're, like, quite successful in life, and they do seem to be quite healthy.
Yeah.
And then when I look at people in our life who do ponder the big questions, they do suffer from, like, mental health issues. They aren't that happy, and they're not that successful. So I do think maybe we've got the wrong end of the stick here.
So I think
it might be too late for us to switch to no nonsense though.
But I guess then the interesting question is the idea of asking these questions or gaining some comprehension about things kind of detrimental to our survival on a very natural physical level?
Yeah.
Or is it just that the answers do not synchronize well with the society that we've built, and so that breaks us out?
Can't it be both?
Yeah, but I think, let's say definitely the latter.
Definitely, yeah.
But then the interesting question is it only the latter?
Yeah.
Or is the former true as well?
I think the former might be true. Because I suppose just logically, the more time you spend thinking of these questions, the less time you're likely to be out, dating or procreating or, eating healthily or whatnot.
But also my dating strategy is just asking these questions. Maybe that's why I'm single.
Yeah, you're just trying to find the answers to these big questions. No, you're going to save the big questions to the third date.
Yeah, but
Small
so
talk for the first 2 days.
That's why I'm single.
Yeah, exactly.
I start with so what is the universe? What's your worst form of suffering?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think like another drink?
Yeah. Do you think man should actively eschew the next level of comprehension?
Go on, don't tell me you date in a different way.
No, I date in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why we should only date people who listen to our podcast.
This is why we're both single. Oh, you're not single, are you?
But that's also why we should date people who listen to the podcast. Because they've already gone through the small talk.
They've been eschewing.
They've been eschewing.
They haven't been eschewing.
They haven't been eschewing. They're in the same level as us.
Yeah, but then they'll have very unhealthy constitutions. but I don't know. Like, I think it's also like, what is it that these questions have a healing capacity? That's why sick people ask them, or is it that they have
Okay, so you're right. So every person that gets sick ultimately asks, why was I here? Or have I achieved what I was here for? Or, will God save me?
Does every sick person do that? I'm not sure. Not.
I find in my...
but there's enough people.
There's enough people who, when they do get sick in quite a in a dramatic manner, in like a way close to death, will ask those questions. But that might also be because society is programmed into us that we should ask these questions.
I don't think society's programmed that much into us. I think they're more just stay in line.
No, but you don't think that society has kind of suggested to us that, death is a really big moment and it's time for you to reflect on your life? And, we should be prolonging life to as much as possible and whatnot. And when we look at people who, who are actively finding peace with death, we're a bit like, but why don't you want to live?
Yeah, but that's not promoting the question. That's just saying death is bad, stay away. Right? That's all that's saying. That's not saying, what is death? Try and figure out what death is. Is life worth sustaining? Is it natural to continue with medicine? Should there be,
that's true.
Euthanasia?
That's true.
These aren't constantly... Yeah, and also, for my situation, my sickness wasn't fatal. There was never a concept in my head that I was going to die because of it.
But that could have been like just arrogance or ego. Like, we didn't know the ramifications of that sickness at the time.
Well, I mean, from history, like, I thought I had something called ME, which I think that's what it is, and I don't think many people or any people have died from ME.
Yeah, but it was impacting your feeding, and you were losing weight. It could have led to more complications than just ME.
Sure. Yeah, you spend a lot of time in hospital, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's very... Yeah, but I guess I didn't... Yeah, okay, maybe it is arrogance, but also I didn't have any knowledge or basis to think in this way.
Yeah, so eschewing, the next level of comprehension, helped your survival.
Yeah, but I don't think it was true to think in the way that you were saying. Like, I don't think there's no data for me to suggest, or there's no truth. I mean, maybe this will lead to my demise, but currently it seems like I was more right than you were.
Yeah, but then also, this was also in the past. You have a very romanticized nostalgia of your illness. You're always saying that
but I haven't died.
You're always saying that you want to be ill again.
But that's a different issue. I haven't died yet. Or
but
maybe
that's only
I have,
because you found the beauty.
Okay, so you're saying I managed to find the beauty because I had the arrogance to ignore the comprehension that I probably would have died.
Exactly.
Interesting.
No, but you ignored looking into your illness and, trying to cure it by learning more about it. Instead, you looked into the universe and found the cure in the universe.
I did look into my illness. Oh, yeah, but that's true, actually. I would only go to doctors and ask them. I would always ask them loads of questions about my sickness, but I used the sickness as an excuse to understand
the universe,
or just the human body. I just got so relentlessly curious about everything, and I would be like, yo, anatomy, what's that shit? And then I was like, but like, how does that? Is that a microcosm of the universe? Is that how things work?
Okay, so they do say that the soul resides within us, and the soul might be. So you're saying, wait, forget the soul. But you're saying the body is a microcosm of the universe?
Yeah, I think that's true, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a separate point, but sure, yeah.
And then the soul is what? If the body is a microcosm of the universe, what's the soul?
The soul, for me, is an energetic locality, or a density of energy suspended within space. So, or a density of God. So, like, if we say the same way that matter is a density of space, right? The soul is a density of, like, God, or a kind of metaphysical space.
So the soul is everything in the universe, pretty much. Because matter is kind of everything.
Let's say
if
we say God is space is everything in the universe.
Yeah, but
matter is a density of space.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So everything is God.
Yeah.
Right. And congealants of God, like dense congealants of God, are souls.
And there's only one of those within you. Or it's or your whole body is made up of this.
Well, it gives birth to sort of like I think that's the kind of the fabric from which, like, let's say a matter like a body emerges. So it's like the essence gives birth to its form, but the
wow. And then, do you believe the universe is only it's like
know
forever
where this is
expanding, or do you think it's
It's like every single question.
or is it like forever shrinking on itself?
I don't fucking know. I think just like infinite. The world is there's like universe is infinite.
So, but if the universe is infinite, and then your body is a microcosm of the universe, then your body is infinite,
Yeah, pretty much.
and then that's why you're going to live forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
It's
maybe not
it's
you.
Just God complex to
Is
it.
Yeah,
So that's interesting. So if the universe is if the body is a microcosm of the universe, is the universe contracting or expanding?
Yeah.
But like I think in the sense that the body is contracting and expanding constantly, or like the spirit, or like. But there's.
Yeah,
I mean, I think the matter. So, the whole world of matter.
Yeah.
Are just microcosms within microcosms within microcosms, permeated by an infinity.
And you found this out because you went to your doctor and you asked loads of questions.
And meditated and drank some tea.
I was waiting for this. I feel like you're pushing
but I don't think I'm
an anti-modern medicine theory.
No. I think maybe I have a personal disbelief in certain modern medicine, or when I go to the doctor I'm not expecting much because I haven't got much from 8 years of doing this.
That's not true. Are you going to the doctor all of the time?
Yeah, but I haven't got that much from it, so I still go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But it's more just to check on him.
You're doing him a service.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
I
didn't realise
issues, right? And I don't want to just go cold turkey.
Yeah, you're right. And we've got the NHS.
Like, what happened to this patient?
We've got the NHS. We should make use of
I don't
free
want to
healthcare.
waste.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if it's free.
Exactly.
But I think, but what I'm saying, the way that medicine hasn't been able to help me, it's because on this specific condition that I've had, they haven't got so much, knowledge or research. But there's loads of things that I've gone to the doctors for, and they've helped me completely. I'm not saying the Earth is flat. Don't go to the doctor, right? I'm saying the Earth is a microcosm of a microcosm of a microcosm permeated by infinity. Don't go to the doctor.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that you also don't have that much knowledge on that illness that you had. You just went into the universe.
No, but I guess it is interesting because, like, I never really spent much time, like, on Wikipedia or researching or, like, reading, yeah. But maybe it's because I wanted to be sick in order to have the excuse to have time to explore these questions. I don't know, maybe there's something in that.
No, but I think there is probably some truth in that. But it's better to look at it in terms of the way that you were actually actively eschewing the next level of comprehension, because otherwise learning more about ME would have led to negative impacts on your survival.
Yeah, I think it also creates a certain level of hypochondria.
Yeah, for
paranoia.
sure.
Yeah, and I think I actively was avoiding that to prevent me getting too obsessed about certain things or trying to know. I think that's what's helped me is, like, once I figured out that a philosophical question can't truly be answered in the linear forms, I managed to apply that to my health. Or maybe it worked the other way around, that I couldn't figure out the answers to my health.
And so then you realise you can't answer the bigger
questions. And what has been actually the most helpful for me in this whole process of being sick is understanding that the universe, or like realizing that cause and effect isn't the fabric of everything, or if it is, it's not as intelligible. The cause and effect is so, like, wild and complex and like
and
has
it
a
could be the ramifications
patternism
be,
which we don't
understand.
We don't understand. So
but also
giving
we don't
up the
live
cause
long
and
enough
effect
to even see the cause and effect of so many things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what happened to me was every day I would wake up, if I feel shit, I'd have to, like, create some, why am I feeling crap? Is it because of something I ate? Is it because of something I did? And then you get into this paranoia and you're like, I can't do A and I can't do B because of this. And this is what doctors, had told me, and it just led me to ruin. And so now I've managed to
give... Because you found it too limiting.
Yeah. Because I needed to know why I was feeling bad so I could correct my action. But I never got the knowledge but I was still obsessing over it, and that anxiety was actually the thing that was hurting me more than anything.
And so it does make sense, though, because maybe when you were trying to answer those questions, you realised that if I can't answer these small questions, then how can I possibly answer the big questions?
Yeah, I guess. Kind of, yeah. But it's weird that I kind of came to the philosophical realization before I came to the physical
question. Wow.
So, but also because it was maybe more real to me. The fact that I woke up sick every day was more real than the abstract philosophical questions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And also your immediate need was to obviously cure your sickness.
Mm.
You know, to get out of bed or to stop waking up feeling sick.
Yeah. But what about you? I still don't get, like, if you've learned, you've got more comprehension through answering questions, or less, or if you've avoided comprehension. In order to sustain your life.
Yeah, but what are we defining as comprehension? Like, I think I learn something every single day. Definitely more knowledgeable.
Can you eschew something as well?
Do I eschew?
Eschew, sorry.
Do I eschew? I think I definitely eschew deeper questions on a lot of things in life. Like, I know that people love me, but I don't need to know why they love me. Or, you know, I believe in a God, but I don't necessarily need to know... I believe in lots of gods, but I don't necessarily need to know how many there are or what their roles are. And I don't necessarily need to know what they can do for me, but I believe in them. So I think in that way I am actively eschewing the next level of comprehension.
So...
Because I think you would... There are a lot of ways that... It doesn't have to be in a spiritual way, does it? That you eschew the next level of comprehension. Like the example about loving someone, you know, I think when people try and ask you to define why you love them, that's when it becomes... Actually, you end up loving them a little bit less.
But I feel that's not really... I don't know if that's true to this idea of comprehension, because somebody loves you... I think that is the higher knowledge, the knowing why, because they probably don't know why they love you, and there's probably not an element, like a strong causality to that love. Somebody just loves you because they love you,
yeah.
Right? And if
but
you
that's
have faith
often
in that,
not a good question.
But normally people
not
ask,
a good answer,
ask me. Normally, if somebody asks you, "Why do you love me?" That's because that normally comes from an insecurity that they're not 100% sure that you do love them, so they need it to be justified.
Yeah, but it also could be... You're right, it probably does come from an insecurity standpoint because they want positive affirmation of their good qualities, right?
It's not a... Because I don't think you really believe that there's much comprehension in the why of love. I think that one, especially choosing something like love.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but maybe that's why I actively eschew it, though. But you're saying that isn't the next level of comprehension.
That isn't the next... Yeah. That's the kind of...
Level below,
below, and also quite irrelevant.
Yeah, okay, that is true. Fine, so maybe I only actively eschew it in a spiritual way. Like, I'm happy to believe without trying to understand why I believe it.
Yeah. Well, I think both of us, maybe you slightly more, maybe, I don't know, but, like, kind of have some connection to a religion and have a belief in it. We don't actually exercise it much.
No.
Like we don't really spend that much time in mosque or temple doing...
religious practice,
praying. Or like meditation. I don't know, for me, I personally think meditation is a really good place towards comprehension and towards knowledge. I don't meditate that much.
No, I mean, but you do reference it in every podcast. You do act like you meditate a lot.
Yeah. But I've got the codes for it.
Yeah, you got the codes. No, but so that is...
I think I used to, but now I'm like, you know...
Yeah, but it's one of the things, like, I am quite scared of, you know, my parents passing away and me... not knowing what to do as a Hindu, like in not only in their funeral services, but also after they've gone. Like, I will go to a temple and just do... What would I do? Like, because normally when I go to a temple, I'm with my parents, right? When I go there by myself, they're like, sorry, why are you here?
You don't know what to do. Offer food is always the answer.
No, there's food there.
Yeah, but offer them the food that's already there.
What, the
I'm not saying bring your own
food? Offer the priest food.
You don't walk in with a bucket of fried chicken.
Yeah, I think that's my fear.
But that's something... Come on, that's a nonsense thing. That's just like, spend some time there and you figure it out, and then you become integrated.
Yeah.
Like, And no, I get what you're talking about, because I'm like, this is like an awkward sort of space, because it's kind of different from everything else, and then you've got your the image of your parents to hold around with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's not really comprehension. That's nothing like what.
No, but I'm actively eschewing the comprehension.
Okay,
because
you're not going to because. But why? What?
Because I think if I go there and I get to the next level of comprehension, I won't be fearful of my parents' death. And then if I'm not fearful of their death, then maybe I won't check up on them all the time, and then they will die.
But if you're happy with their death, then does that?
Yeah, but I don't think we'll ever get
not.
to an aspect of our life where we would be happy with our parents' death. Even when
So it's
our
like
parents are old and decrepit, I'd still be unhappy when they pass.
Yeah, but unhappy and scared are different, right? Like fear.
Yeah, I suppose the fearful now is because they're still playing an active role in my life. I suppose when they're a bit older and I'm the more active role in their life, then it might be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my fears are only
what
around...
you're kind of saying is it's like you don't have the optimism to believe you can get rid of all your fear, so why bother get rid of any? Because if I get rid of a little bit, I might just become complacent.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think that's a lot of how I live my life, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's why I only take, like, you know, I don't take permanent contracts, I only take temporary contracts. Because I'm like, I've got to work hard to get this shit renewed. I think if I had a permanent contract, I don't think I'd be as...
This is really interesting because it sounds just like my mum, and I've always correlated you with my mum for this.
No way! It's also why the charity is so unsuccessful, is because I keep spending all the funding that we get, because I'm like, I've got to earn more funding, instead of saving money for a rainy day.
But that's what I find, that you're way too easy, like, happy with the podcast. That's why we're complacent, and I'm always like, no, this is not good enough. But maybe this is the only place where you don't have fear. That's why it's unsuccessful.
Okay, fine. So to make it successful, we've got to be more fearful.
Maybe. I don't know.
So what would be fearful of, though? What are we fearful of? Podcast-wise?
I don't know. Yeah, you don't seem like, I don't know.
What are you fearful of? I'm maybe fearful of people thinking that we're not nice people.
Yeah. I'm fearful of being misunderstood. I'm scared of that. I'm not...
Yeah, but I think misunderstanding can only come if people think that we're not kind. And I think I'm more fearful of us being being portrayed as being not kind.
No, but I think when I am being kind and people have misunderstood it, that hurts me. But if I'm being an asshole, then I don't like that, because I don't like being an asshole. And I feel a sense of shame around that. But if somebody can alert me to that would be kind of nice, right?
Yeah, I think you're being an asshole almost all of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
But like, I know how much you were a bit assholes. We've been talking about anal sex for the last 3 weeks.
All right, we've gone wildly off topic here.
Okay.
And wildly over the time limit.
Okay.
So, do you have any closing statements?
Closing statements.
Do you even remember what the quote is?
Yeah, but I think the statement should remain open in order to avoid anxiety. Right?
Yeah.
But the statement should remain in order to open one's eyes.
Is that your statement?
Yeah. That is the statement.
That is the statement.
Also, the Earth is flat.
Shut up.
And microcosms within microcosms permeating.
Yeah, I do like the microcosms.
Yeah. Also, the soul is...
Yeah.
We've asked
a lot of questions.
But I think... Okay, we should definitely end it. But also, I think your desire... your constant need to ask questions, or especially like when they get towards you kind of evade, you point questions towards other people to prevent you getting knowledge about yourself, but you want knowledge about other people's, so you can kind of understand yourself but within a kind of structural...
Yeah, but I'm happy to live in that structure of you, my understanding of you.
Yeah, but that's you eschewing your next level of comprehension, because whenever I ask you like too much about your life or whatever, or your choices, you always deflect it back onto me, and I think that's your way of
eschewing
your next level of comprehension about things.
Yeah.
And I think I do similar things, like maybe slightly differently, but we all have those mechanisms that mean I want to know, but not enough that it will cause any action.
Yeah, no, but that's true, but it also could just come from the fact that I want to know more about others than I want to know about myself. Because I'm pretty secure in myself. So
but that's what I'm saying.
So that means I want to know more about others.
I think it's because knowing something about other people doesn't demand that much action on your part.
Yeah, because I could just do it without. Yeah, you're right. There's no repercussions of knowing stuff about other people, really. I mean, there is, but not as much as knowing something about myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, if your favorite ice cream is hazelnut, it doesn't really bother me. I'll maybe buy you hazelnut ice cream.
Yeah.
But if it's mine, then that's what I've got to eat for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that changes everything.
Like, that changes everything, right? Like, that shit's fucking... Especially since I'm lactose intolerant and allergic to nuts.
Yeah, the ramifications of that would be...
Right?
I think there's definitely some truth. I think that's probably the truest thing that you've ever said.
Well, I'm allergic to nuts.
And lactose intolerant. And sometimes celiac. All right, well, let's...
So do you have a closing statement? Or an opening statement?
So my closing statement is that, man only survives life by actively eschewing the next level of comprehension.
Oh, so you're Ben-okri.
Yeah. Exactly.